Coming soon. Something big. Something massive. Something giant. Welcome to Giant Health and the Parkinson's Concierge track. The Big Parkinson's House. 10 rooms. 10 symptoms we live with, looking for 10 solutions. Parkinson's in the entrance hall.
Hi, my name's Paul Nichols. I was diagnosed at 43. I'm now 47 and I live on the Sunshine Coast in North Essex, in Clacton.
What's your symptom?
My symptoms are my speech is it gets poor, my handwriting is exceptionally poor, I suffer from slowness of movement and unpredictable freezing, and that affects my daily life in so much that when I get stressed, when I get anxious, which is quite often when you go to busy areas like a shop or an airport, I freeze unpredictability, which will stop me from going to the shop. And this happened once when I was going to the airport. I got myself in a little bit of a panic and I ended up being taken in a wheelchair through security because I just couldn't walk anymore. I was frozen to the spot, which at the time was really embarrassing. So I've discovered a superpower that I've got. Well, it's not really a superpower, but it's a power I didn't realise I had. 6 months ago, I started painting and drawing, and I've been asked to put a piece in an exhibition in the Oxo Gallery in London, which is next to the Tate Gallery. It's a big Parkinson's exhibition, which is something I can't believe is happening to me. So I'm not disabled, I'm just differently abled. And that's my story. And that affects my daily life in so much that when I get stressed, when I get anxious, which is quite often when you go to busy areas like a shop or an airport, I freeze unpredictability, which will stop me from going to the shop.
Parkinson's in the kitchen.
Hi guys, my name's Matt Eagles and I've lived with Parkinson's now for 45 years. Officially, according to my medical records, I was diagnosed in 1975. I don't actually remember because I was 7 and I didn't really care. I just wanted to be out playing with my friends. Major problems now. Since having DBS 14 years ago, I use at the house to me is almost a challenge. And I have adaptations all around the house. I struggle with my balance, particularly, and I regularly fall over. I've had to have these spindles in my staircase replaced 4 times. I've had to have my dining chairs, which if you hear them squeaking, it's because I tend to break those as well. In the kitchen, I break cups. The house is a real kind of it can be quite dangerous for me. So I've sort of got all kind of adaptations around the house. But I spend a lot of my time here because I work from home for a healthcare communications agency and I'm a positivity activist.
Parkinson's on the stairs.
My name is Richard Underwood and I'm 56, was diagnosed with Parkinson's at 53. I lost my sense of smell when I was 38. I live in Basingstoke, Hampshire.
What's your symptom?
And how the condition affects me is down my right-hand side, where I have a tremor in my right arm. I have stiffness with gait and issues of walking. How does it affect me in my daily life? But during the day, I also suffer with severe fatigue, and I often have a little sleep, which then makes me very, very tired. I have difficulty in walking to the shops, and I have been known to be stuck in a supermarket and to ask for help from a security guard to get me down a tin of baked beans from the shelf. Again, I have some superpowers as well, which I use. One of them is to turn around in the street and to do circles around my Nordic walking poles that I use. That helps me then to generate mobility going forward again. I also have additional things because Parkinson's is not about your end of life, but it's about how you adapt to the condition. I also have returned to playing badminton at quite a good level and also to play table tennis. These help my coordination and help the condition together. And I also like to dance, and I also dance around my kitchen a lot, which helps my movement. And that is my story.
Into room 4. Oh, this is the bedroom.
My name is John Cairn. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's age 51, although I had shown symptoms for some years before. I live in the Lake District, West Cumbria, which is the most beautiful part of England.
What's your symptom?
My major problems with Parkinson's are my right-hand side. I have a tremendously strong tremor down my right side, especially in my arm. But it does impact very much on my mobility and walking. I have a constant pain in my right foot. I spend most of my time outside of Parkinson's trying to educate people on understanding the condition. I go into care homes, hospitals, universities, anywhere that wants an insight into what it's like living with Parkinson's to explain the condition to them.
Parkinson's in the home office.
Hi, I'm Michael Qualia. I have Parkinson's, and I was diagnosed at age 42. I live in Dayton, Massachusetts.
What's your symptom?
My symptoms with Parkinson's include dyskinesia, apathy, anxiety, depression, dystonia, and lately I've been experiencing brain fog. It affects me daily. It affects me in my daily life by having my throat torn up, which is called that my throat tightens up. Like right now, it's a battle between dystonia and dyskinesia. What's wrong with my voice? It's bad right now, as bad as it's gonna get, but I'll get through this. It makes it difficult to understand me. My voice has always been my instrument. Prior to being medically disabled, I was a sales manager for a very successful staffing company in Boston. I found the companies and found the engineering talent. And since then, I've started a podcast. Yes, I have. With my voice, I have a podcast. I've had over 6,000 downloads, and it's going well. But my voice, once again, is my instrument, and it's trying to take that away from me, too. I know Russ and Charlotte, but I know I'm speaking to a bunch of people right now. That's when my voice, I get a little bit of anxiety rush through me, and that really tightens up my voice. I'm going to share one interesting fact with you about Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's affects everybody differently. We all have the same symptoms. We all have a lot of similar symptoms, but they say Parkinson's is like a snowflake. Everyone has different experiences with this syndrome or disease, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. But also, there's also very talented people with Parkinson's. They don't get taken seriously because we sound different, we look different. There's a lot of high achievers with Parkinson's disease. A lot of multimillionaires live quite well.
Parkinson's in the home gym.
Hi, my name is Gavin Mogan. I have Parkinson's. I was diagnosed 12 years ago at the age of 38. I live in the Dallas, Texas area with my wife and 2 kids.
What's your symptom?
Parkinson's affects me in many, many ways. My most significant symptom is stiffness and freezing of gait. But most of throughout the day, I do pretty well. But at certain times when a medication is running low, my body tenses up, freezes up. My balance gets very, very hard to stand up, or sometimes even walk. Very hard to walk. Sometimes even stand up, and makes it very tricky to function during those times. So it affects me, especially in certain parts of the house. And where I feel confined, going through hallways, doorways, or places where the surface changes in the floor. One interesting fact about Parkinson's is that I've been able to figure out a way to completely get rid of my symptoms for temporarily, through use of emotion or kind of a mental picture. I can sometimes in the right place, right time, completely make my symptoms go away, and I can function and get out of whatever jam I happen to be in. And then it's like a 2-minute respite from the disease. Thank you.
Parkinson's in the bathroom.
Hi, I'm Ewan. I have Parkinson's and was diagnosed at age 53 about 18 months ago.
What's your symptom?
Although I've been having symptoms probably since around 2016. I live in the beautiful city of Edinburgh in Scotland. Of course, you can't see it through that frosty glass window behind me, I'm afraid. My symptoms with Parkinson's include a crampy right foot, which was actually my first symptom and appeared when I was training for a marathon, and also a shaky right hand. It affects me in my daily life in all sorts of ways. It makes little things difficult, like walking to the post office or writing in a form or brushing my teeth. And an example when this has happened is even yesterday, I had to go to the post office to post some parcels and found that I was struggling because my toes were curling under my foot and making the journey somewhat agony. So I had to stop and stretch and wait for it to pass and then continue. I'm going to share one interesting fact, or at least something that affects me, which is the fact that I like to run. I enjoy running. I still have it in me to run a marathon. But I find that if my foot cramps up, I have a tactic, and that is to simply turn around and run backwards, because that allows my foot to free up. I also find that when I'm walking, same thing. If my foot starts cramping up and I walk backwards, it goes away. Of course, it doesn't quite work so well if you're on a crowded street with dogs and people and bollards and curbs and dogs and children. But I try my best.
Parkinson's in the utility room.
Hi, I'm Scott Ryder. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at age 47. I live in the United States in a city called Beaufort, South Carolina.
What's your symptom?
My symptoms with Parkinson's include a right hand tremor. Often I drag my right leg. I have what I call left foot dystonia. And I have to admit that staying focused and multitasking is a challenge. My daily life is affected in many ways, but most simply I would describe that my daily life is affected by the fact that what are simple and routine tasks for most people are challenging for me. An example of that would be if I'm on the telephone, when I need to take an important note, I'll write down that note. But unfortunately, later on, I have no idea what I wrote down because I can't read what I had jotted down. The dystonia impacts me when I cycle, and when I walk, it brings those activities to a complete halt. An interesting fact about Parkinson's is that in the United States, somebody is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease every 9 minutes.
Parkinson's in the lounge.
I'm Matthew, and I have Parkinson's. I was diagnosed at the age of 44, and I live in Leicester.
What's your symptom?
My symptoms for Parkinson's include slowness and anxiety. It affects my daily life, such as getting very tired easily, struggling to get around, getting dressed, getting washed, and every normal thing that most people have to do day to day. It affects my confidence, and when I try to leave the house, I struggle to leave the house. I also have insomnia, which is not great when you've got Parkinson's, because if I don't get sleep, then my Parkinson's is a lot worse. One of the interesting things I've found about my Parkinson's is that my hearing has become so acute, and so I basically can hear a pin drop. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But that's my story. Thank you.
Parkinson's in the garden.
Hi, my name is Nick Morris. I was diagnosed when I was 50, more or less on my birthday, in fact.
What's your symptom?
It was a bit of a shock. I didn't know much about Parkinson's at the time, and I was advised not to find out too much and just enjoy my life while it was good. For 5 years, it was pretty normal, and then gradually things start to creep up, and it's been mainly my walking which has been affected, I'd say. Going from normally walking but to the dog every day to suddenly not quite being able to make the same journey and having the possibility of freezing here and there has changed my life quite somewhat. But lucky than some, I should say. It's running a fairly mild course with me, and it's 12 years later since I was diagnosed, and I'm still able to work and carry on with my life more or less normally.
Parkinson's, the fastest growing neurological condition in the world. They live with this 24/7. There is no cure. Parkinson's Concierge. We want to make a difference to the 10 million people living with Parkinson's. I've been Marcus Bentley. You've been an excellent audience. And our hosts, Parkinson's Concierge, have been honoured to inform you about this debilitating condition.